Hi everyone, welcome to ELI, the place where you get your daily dose of inspiration for entrepreneurship. And today we have with us Miss Kanika Tekriwal, who is the founder of JetSetGo, which currently manages and operates India's largest private jet and helicopter fleet. Hi Kanika, welcome to ELI.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
I would request you to introduce yourself to our audience, please.
So I'm Kanika Tekriwal. As you were just told, I run JetSetGo. We're an operator as well as a management company of private jets and helicopters. Our end goal ultimately is to enable the fastest possible connectivity from point A to point B.
Okay. Uh, Kanika, before we start talking about JetSetGo, would love to know your background as an entrepreneur. And prior to entrepreneurship, what are the different steps that you did, and what are the different events in your life that led to entrepreneurship?
I think I've always wanted to be. I mean, this word entrepreneur is now very considered very fancy, and yeah, entrepreneurship is cool, startup is cool. But to put it in simple terms, I always knew I wanted to run my own business. I belong to a Marwadi business family where, I think all I've seen is people running businesses, big building them, making them very successful. And I was always very clear from a very young age that at some point I do want to run my own business and be my own creator, create my own values, instill my own systems.
Mhm.
And I started working at a very early age. So I started working when I was about 16 and a half or so with the corporate. I used to go to work and skip college, which I wouldn't advise anyone to do in hindsight, but yeah. And since then I worked for a company in the UK, and then I came back and I
Mhm.
was sick for about a year, and that's when the idea of starting JetSetGo struck me, and I started it, and it's been really cool since then. Yeah.
Speaking of JetSetGo, tell us what is the exact problem that you are solving through your venture?
So, I don't think businesses solve problems. And I think anyone who starts a startup thinking that your business needs to solve a problem is probably not right. Apple didn't solve a problem by creating the Facebook,
Hmm.
creating the iPhone or creating the earpods. Nor did Facebook solve a problem by, creating Facebook. Nor did Instagram solve a problem. I think businesses are about creating value, bringing ease of life and bringing people together primarily,
Mhm.
and or changing the way we live life. And I think that's exactly what I've been wanting to do. I believe travel is a very integral part of our lives, and it's not going to change with as much technology that may come in. You've got FaceTime, Zoom, WebEx, e-meets, I don't know, Signal,
Yeah.
WhatsApp video calls, all of that. But that doesn't take away the need to physically see someone or meet
Hmm.
someone, whether it's to sign a deal or whether it's to, I don't know, hug your mother or whatever it is. So I
Hmm.
think what we set out to do as such was create a business that not create a business, but create a product that enables the fastest possible connectivity from point A to point B.
Yeah.
And that's always been the goal, get people, enable a businessman to visit 5 factories in one day,
Hmm.
enable the government to do its job, enable
Hmm.
politicians to do their job. That
Hmm.
is what our role has always been.
Got you. And how are you doing that with your venture? What are the different services and products that you have built?
So I think our first main offering obviously is private jets and helicopters, which enable you to travel from anywhere to anywhere, literally in the world, within a few clicks. Apart from that, we have something called empty legs, where we sell private jets at a fraction of the cost. Then it's called Jet Steals, if I'm right. And then we have a lot of religious pilgrimages where we enable people who are older, etc., to use helicopters to visit Char Dham. And we do a lot of emergency response and rescue services. Say if someone's had an accident or an incident or is unwell in a far-flung area, we provide air ambulances and other services to let them travel back to better medical means. And going forward, our main goal is to enable eVTOLs, which is enable intracity transport. Where say if you live in Bangalore, from Electronic City to the airport, you should be able to travel there within 10 minutes at the price of an Uber.
Hmm. Okay. Uh, then would love to explore how does the commercials work out in this particular industry you're operating. What are the different business models? I'm sorry. What are the different revenue models that we have? and what are the typical commissions or profits that we make on our different activities
So,
that we
it really depends on business to business, right? You can't say that one cement company is making the same profit as another cement company, or there's nothing typical. It's about how you build the business, how you grow the business, and what value you want to create. Do you want to create value? Do you want to create profit? Do you want to create both, etc.? So there's no secret formula. It all depends on the entrepreneur. Our goal, like I said, is to enable the fastest possible connectivity from point A to point B, and that's what we focus on the most.
okay. You said the purpose of a business is to create value and to change the way we live our life or do certain things. So that is essentially creating delta, taking the human life from one point to another. So having said that, I would love to ask you, or I would love to know why travel as a venture. What is your inclination, or why did you choose to start with travel?
I think that's where my heart was always. I wanted to become a pilot first, and then when I didn't do what I wanted to do to become a pilot, I decided to run planes, which in hindsight was the best idea. And I think I'm an entrepreneur by heart, so it's not particularly about travel or particularly about airplanes or whatever. I thought I could contribute, and I believe I can contribute the maximum to the space, which is why I'm in the space right now. If I find that I can create more value somewhere else, I hope to move on there. I believe it's about finding the right spot, finding what you can do best.
Hmm.
Most times you can't, you shouldn't, or you shouldn't, I would say, create, do things. A lot of times people say that you should be passionate about something and very deep about something. But what I personally believe is that yes, you should be passionate about whatever you do, but it's not necessary that if you love clothes, you'll make a great fashion designer, or if you love shoes, you'll make a great shoe designer. I think it's more about being able to think programmatically and to being able to provide the right value in a chain, in a system where each building block enables the other building block. To give you a simple example, Mintra was founded by Mukesh Bansal. He didn't know anything about fashion, but he knew about product, he knew about customer service, he knew about UI, UX. So I think it's about, where can you add value in what you do? What
Okay.
sort of entrepreneur are you? What are you good at the most?
Mm, got you. Uh, would love to know about the early days of starting JetSetGo. And why I'm asking is basically we want to learn how does a business start? What are the different processes involved in the initial days? So can you tell us how did you, what was the initial hypothesis? How did you go about it? Did you do a market research first? And how did you assemble a team? And how did you fund your operation initially?
So, I think, personally speaking, I don't believe that any product or any customer comes ready to you, right? So even when I started this business, what I thought and what I'm doing is completely different. We thought we'll create India's largest marketplace for private jets, but when our first flight was booked, the plane never turned up because the service provider never he walked out at the last moment
Mm,
in giving on his promise to give the aircraft. So I personally believe that no amount of market research can teach you real life lessons. And how we've built the business is, we built our business from our customers' learnings slowly. So I realized, okay, the marketplace is not going to work. What do I need to do? I need to get into aircraft management. I need to then start owning my own airplanes. And I never really, shied away from doing what I thought the market really required. I was very clear about that.
mm,
And I think that's what being an entrepreneur requires. I don't think any entrepreneur has $1 gazillion to do market research and hire 2,000 people unless and until they're very deep pockets. They've sold a business prior, etc.
mm,
I personally believe that when you're starting ground up, you have to be frugal. You have to struggle to get where you are, and for that you need to go and ask your potential customers. Do you think you use this product? Do a lot of testing.
mm,
I was one person running the entire company for 6 7 months. I used to answer the phone with different names, do everything myself. And over a period of time, we've built a team, as the need came for people, etc., etc. Great businesses aren't built out of fancy offices, having more people than you require. You have to be frugal. You have to be very wise with the way you spend the limited money that you have. And I personally believe you have to aim at, getting $2 out of every $1 that you spend and moving forward.
Okay. You spoke about customer research and all. T- can you tell us how did you find your first customer, or how did you go about acquiring customers for your venture?
I think I just spoke to every single person who I thought, could find me a customer or could be a customer, and they led to, one closing. You have to be very proud of the product you create. You have to talk as much as possible. You won't have big marketing budgets, sales budgets. Even till now, that's it. Marketing budgets are minimal. We don't advertise anywhere. We don't do hard sales.
Hmm.
So I personally believe that word of mouth is the best initially, especially when you're starting out. Speak to as many people as you can in your universe. You've got so much social media now, etc., and you'll eventually find your first customer.
Got you. What are the different challenges that you have faced so far while building and growing this venture?
I think that whenever anyone asks me this, what I've realized is there's no real challenge that I've ever faced. Every day is a new normal, more or less, and I think things that seemed like a problem 5 years ago right now are normal. I mean, the daily occurrences, so nothing substantial. Yeah.
Okay. Um, Tell us about recruitment and hiring. How did you assemble a team? Where did you find them? How did you motivate them to join you and become part of your venture and believe in your vision? And yeah, how did you also retain them? Tell us about it.
So, I always talk about this all the time, that it's this era currently is about ethical leadership. You're not a leader, you're not a founder, you're not a CEO. If your only goal is to sell the business XYZ dollars, or do an IPO at XYZ dollars, or make so much profit, I think gone are the days when companies were only driven by money. I think what's very important right now in today's world is to be extremely ethical, honest, and integral with your business. And I think that's what comes into play when your teams are concerned. So initially it was always by word of mouth. And I'm proud to say that, 7 years ago, a lot of people used to worry about joining JetSetGo, and they used to be like, oh my God, this is a small company. Should I join? Should I not? Today, everyone wants to join JetSetGo. And how do you get from that point to this point? Is by always looking after your people. I believe in any business, it's the people that make the business. You can have the best product, the best marketing, the best sales, the best consumers. But if you don't have a great team who believes in you, who, works with you to enable your goals and objectives, it's not going to happen.
Mm.
And I think that's what's very, very important. So as a founder, I think I always paid a lot of attention to ensuring I take care of my people. I've always been very human to them. I don't shy away from showing my emotions. I think having an emotional quotient as a CEO, as a founder, as a leader is extremely important in today's era. And it's just on the basis of that, slowly, step by step, we've built a team. We've got some of the best people in the industry and outside the industry working for us. And there's no dearth of talent for us to hire.
Got you. You said when you started with a different model of business than what you are doing right now. So I'm assuming you would have gone through a pivot of business model. So can you tell us about it? What are the different pivots that you have done?
Like I mentioned earlier we started off as a marketplace, then we became a management company, and now we own our own aircrafts. And we've done that as the market has demanded for us to do it.
Okay. Um, any sort of growth hacks that you have discovered along the way through which you acquired customers without spending a lot of money?
Again, I think there's nothing called hacking in the world of business. And with a lot of fun, terms like pivot, growth hacks, all of these that have become very trendy right now. But
Mm.
what is a growth hack? According to me, a growth hack is making your product the best damn product out there. Then you don't need to do sales, you don't need to do marketing. People will use your product, talk about your product, and sell your product. I always say invest every marketing dollar that you can into the customer. Make your customer service better. I think customer service is key to growth. After sales is key to growth. I'll give you a simple example. There's a company called Bliss Club, which I wanted to order track pants from. I loved their product the first time round. I ordered some. Then the second time I wanted to order more. But their
Mm.
customer service was so poor. I was facing some issues online where they would just not respond to me with what I wanted or respond correctly. And then I just decided I'm not going to use these products anymore. I mean, what the hell? So what happened? Instead of growing and getting a repeat order, they lost that customer who's never going to come back to them again. And I think that's the biggest growth hack any founder can implement in their business. Make sure your customer service is bang on. As a founder, you should be involved in customer service every single day. I still answer customers' calls. I still interact with customers every day just to understand how I can make my product better. The second thing I always say is that you've got to solve customer problems at the right time. If you can't solve them, if you've made a mistake, pick up the phone and say sorry. There's no bigger growth hack than that. The moment you apologize to a customer for doing something wrong, that customer is going to go and tell 10 positive stories about you. So, in essence, according to me, if you don't want to spend money on sales and marketing, customer word of mouth is the only way your product's going to sell. And while of course for mass products, digital media, social media, all of that is there, but all of that requires a certain spend to reach a
Hmm.
certain audience. But I always believe if you've got 100 champions talking about your product, that is the best publicity you can get. Even paid publicity cannot get you that. So, inspire your consumers so much that they want to talk about you, that they want to share your success, they want to tell your story. And no one's going to be able to give you a better secret formula than this.
Gotcha. Uh, as an entrepreneur, you tend to make a lot of decisions throughout your journey, and you take a lot of initiatives. Not every initiative results in a success. Some end up being a failure as well. So can you tell us, during your Jet Set Go journey, what are some of the biggest failures that you have gone through?
I think I've failed more in my personal life than professional life. I think professionally we've done a great job, apart from maybe not taking a couple of customers very seriously. But
Mm.
I think in a personal life as an entrepreneur, you go through these cycles where you're not able to give enough time to your family, to your health, to yourself. And I think those are very critical points for any founder to keep in mind. If I could go back and start giving some time to my health, prioritizing my own self, I would probably do that.
What is the meaning of entrepreneurship for you? How do you define the term entrepreneur?
I think it's very simple: creating value. That's it.
Okay. Gotcha. And my final question for you: there are a lot of entrepreneurs who will be listening to this episode. So, what would you say are some of the lessons that you have learned, so that the listeners who are also entrepreneurs can take away those learnings and maybe apply to their ventures and their lives as well?
I think so many lessons. I think one of my key lessons have been that you've got to be your biggest believer. You've got to be your biggest motivator. You have to be your biggest encourager. If you don't believe in yourself, then there is nobody in the world who's going to come and instill that belief and do things for you. You have to make things happen for you. If you believe in yourself, the universe believes in you. So I think self-belief, self-motivation, self-confidence are very key to being a founder. There are going to be a lot of days where you'll be low, where you'll feel bad, where you won't feel like waking up, but you have to push yourself to get out there, get up, and go conquer the world. I think that's a very, very important thing. And apart from that, I think you'll hear a lot of no's throughout your life. I remember since you're small, no, don't touch this, no, don't go there, no, don't do this. I think it's up to you as an entrepreneur to turn every no into a yes and use it as a stepping stone to success. Every no should only make you stronger, more determined to achieve what you want to. And then there's nothing in the world that can stop you from achieving your dreams.
Got you. Well, on this note, I think we have come to the end of the session. Thanks for your time, Kanika, and it was a great pleasure to have you on our platform.
Thank you so much, and I have a great day. Bye bye.